this family more than it could ever mean to anyone else. But, Penny began, not right away, but in a little time, she began to search. I'm not computer savvy, so I knew it was about as far as it could go with me. I turned it over to her, and she began to search, and after 12 years, she hooked up with Henry.
Wow.
And Henry was looking for this sort of thing, were you not? They were looking for that, and I'm so glad that I'm a part that has helped them come to this family.
Amen.
But when you looked at that little piece of paper, you knew it was more than a scrap of paper. It meant something to somebody.
Amen.
And I knew it wasn't mine to keep. So from there, I'm going to turn it over to Penny and let her tell you how she got in touch with Henry. Thank y'all so much for having me.
Well, Henry, here we are in Clay County. Look where that has got us. I just put feelers out on the internet. I done some research on Reverend Tate, and I found an article where he had went to the National Normal University in Lebanon, Ohio. And I lived in Ohio, up in Ohio. And I was very familiar with, I was very familiar with Lebanon, Ohio. So I didn't know that there used to be a university there. Well, I got on their site, and I went to looking and digging. Couldn't find no H.W. Tate. I thought, now something's going on here, because this man graduated from that school. And I knew that because he was a very smart man. When I touched that piece of paper, it come to life.
Amen.
It come.
Amen. Amen. That's all right. Take your time.
I knew it belonged to his family, and I was determined to get it there. And lo and behold, here come an email from a man named Henry Burton, Jr. And he told me that he thought that I had a part or was looking for his great-grandfather, whom he was looking for information on. And from there we began emails and search after search. We had people, they came to our house in February of 2010. We presented the book, this book and the drawing to Juanita and Henry. And then we just felt wonderful.
Amen.
That drawing was home.
Amen.
It was home. And I know the family was just glad to have it. If it was my ancestor stuff, I would have wanted it. And that's what I'd wanted to do with it.
Thank you.
It's interesting that I got started on working on the family tree. My mother had started a family tree for her side of the family back in 1976, and she had presented her side of the family at a couple of family reunions, and that drawing on a piece of paper on both sides had a lot of information that a lot of us didn't know it, and it just sat there until she got sick in the year 2000. We picked it up and we began to say we need to know a little more about our family. Problem is that, or the problem was that we knew a small cluster of her family, but there were other people who had different names. And as far as we understood, they were called family. So I started working with my sister's son, who's the technician, and he took family tree maker, etc., and started building the tree. Well, there was a side of the family that we didn't have much information on, and that was my father's family. So while we were doing my mother's side and working on that, we started on the family side. And we knew something about Reverend Tate. And one of the techniques that we used was to look at, and I guess the genealogy expert can confirm this, we had to look first at what we already knew, what we had in our possession. And there were family members who collect funeral programs, newspaper articles, pictures,